In Fire and Ice Parts 1 and 2, the students of the Glendale Community College Geology class got a close-up view of Death Valley, a one-of-a-kind experience.
This is a hands-on field trip for these students, and here in Death Valley, every turn is a potential classroom. But during the heat of the day, only short stints are tolerable.
Despite the heat, students were in awe of its natural beauty.
Even though you think it's really barren, there's actually a lot of life out here, and water and just the flats. It's really beautiful, but definitely a harsh environment.
But as the second day of our journey drew to a close, it was time to leave the fiery desertscape behind us, to say goodbye to the shifting sand of Death Valley, the mystery of her salt fields, the magnificence of Ubehebe Crater, and the artistry of Owens River Gorge. We headed for the town of Mammoth Lakes and the Long Valley region in the eastern Sierra Nevada mountains of California, and it too was a haven for geologists. It was time for ice, cooler temperatures, and a little fun. Refreshed, the students toured a nearby obsidian dome. In simple geologic terms, obsidian is glass. It's produced when lava flows from a volcano and cools without crystal growth, mostly composed of silicon dioxide. We also toured an ancient earthquake fault on Mammoth Mountain.
This might actually be the headward end of what could become a big landslide.
The beauty of Earth and how she constantly changes is never ending, and we were taken by Inyo and Mono craters and other wonders along the trail. We studied the glacial striations within the rocks of June Lake Loop.
So it's not a nice, smooth, polishing type of a process. And if you lean down on an angle, kind of like this, you can see linear little grooves here. See the glacial polish over here?
We learned to appreciate nature's magical artistry and glacial polish. One of our stops included Panum Crater and the Tufa Towers at Mono Lake. The lessons learned were many, and for most will be passed on.
If they go home and tell their family or their kids, or it makes their next vacation more interesting, then I feel like we've been successful.
We traveled up and over Tioga Pass, heading for Yosemite National Park. The scenery changed dramatically, and so did the temperature. Stops along the way allowed for a few pictures and a lot of memories. Students inspired by the beauty took a moment to really appreciate what they experienced.
Somebody might have a small rock sample on a desk, but when you see a piece of granite that stretches 11,000 feet, or they start talking about the volcanic processes and take you to see an actual crater, you know, some of that stuff, you can't beat that. Can't see that in a film, can't see that in a book.
Yosemite was pure sightseeing, like the Hanging Valley waterfall. Walking through the Sequoia Grove, we felt as though we were somehow transported back in time, passing through an ancient tropical forest. And as it has for so many tourists before us, El Capitan left us speechless. A solid wall of granite reaching for the sky. It is the supreme masterwork of Mother Nature. We left Yosemite and began to put closure to a week of adventure, wonder, and perspective.
Even though we're kind of roughing it and camping every night, when you're rewarded with views like this and with the environment and the interaction with people and getting to know them over a period of a week, it kind of makes that part of it seem easier.
It was surreal, just with the temperature, but the formations. I mean, and having a knowledge of what had happened there geologically and somewhat biologically, you can kind of piece it together. It was awe-inspiring. The whole trip has just been awe-inspiring. I can't place a value on it. It's something I'll never forget.
We packed up and left Mammoth Lakes and headed home. One last night in the Mojave Desert, though, provided for many of us a chance to reflect upon the week, what we learned, what we took away, and what we left behind. This has been Fire and Ice. I'm Rene Blatté reporting for Maricopa Now.